So we've got the gold price completely crashing today. And holy cow, did you see what happened to the gold miners themselves? We're going to go over the details, everything you need to know right now. And I'm also going to share with you what I'm doing with my own portfolio. Most of you know that I own a lot of gold. That is for sure. And I've made some big changes. We'll discuss that at the end of this video right here. And remember, guys, we're going to circle back and we're going to connect all of this to gold and what I am doing and the big changes I've made in my personal portfolio today based on what is happening with the price and a lot of other things too. Okay, so Take Back Tesla campaign urges, and this is just a lefty, kind of the wokesters getting pissed off at Musk for doing Doge and everything. But what's more important is they're trying to get shareholders to reject Musk's $1 trillion, I repeat, $1 trillion pay plan for one guy, a CEO. $1 trillion pay plan. Now, I get it. Musk is a great entrepreneur. He's Tony Stark, right? I totally understand that. $1 trillion? And let's remember that Tesla, although they make a little bit of money, they don't make that much. They don't make that much money. It's just the share price goes up and up and up because I would argue Musk is a hell of a lot better salesman than he is a CEO. And he's a good CEO. I'm not taking anything away from him. But he is one of the best salespeople or P.T. Barnums, let's say, of our time. Maybe the last 100 years. I mean, he is incredible. He's incredible. And there's going to be evidence in this very article. But if you go to Tesla, I mean, last I checked, like their sales are declining. And if you live somewhere outside of the United States where they actually sell BYD, you look at all the BYDs and you don't see any Teslas. Like, where are all the Teslas? Because every time I turn my head, I see another BYD. And so you say, oh, George, but the fact that they're selling cars, I mean, that doesn't even matter anymore. Yes, that's exactly what Musk wants you to believe. Because if you just focus on the car selling, he ain't going to get $1 trillion. I can assure you of that. And where are they going to get the $1 trillion? I mean, I know this happens over the span of 10 years, and it's through shares, all these things. It's not like they're literally giving him $1 trillion. But I mean, how is that not going to dilute shareholders? I mean, there's a lot of things that would have to happen perfectly in order for him to get the $1 trillion. But let's go down to what I think is more important. The woke group is sitting there saying, oh, it's because of his political views. Who cares about his political views? Let's just talk about dollars and cents here. Let's just talk about the numbers, for heaven's sakes. And let's talk about this just looking at the Tesla share price through just pure fundamentals, which is what you should do. So I think personally, just FYI, the shareholders or the board, they should be able to pay him whatever they want. I mean, they want to pay him $10 trillion. Great. Pay him $10 trillion. What I'm saying is this package might represent a peak in market insanity. It should be legal. They can do it, but it might represent a peak in market insanity, mania, whatever you want to call it. I mean, this is one of those headlines where you kind of look back 10 years later and you just say, what were we thinking? What were we thinking? And you'll notice that, let's see, Musk, well, I can't find the quote, but Musk was talking about, they're talking about, have missed out on market cap soaring by 20 times since March of 2018. Right, but is that because Musk made more money? I mean, a little bit, but is that because he sold more cars? I don't know. I don't even know if he's selling more cars than he did in 2018. So does that mean he's doing an awesome job as a CEO because their sales have 10x or 20x? No, it just means that we're in a massive bubble. And I don't know that Musk, I mean, I'm sure he played a role, but the major tailwind there was the fact that we're in a speculative mania. Here you go. This was the quote I was looking for. This is straight from Musk. I am uncomfortable growing Tesla to be a leader in AI and robotics. What? I I thought you sold cars. And see, this is the game that he always plays, right? And he can do this because you're in a speculative mania. If you weren't in a speculative mania, there's no way he could pull this off. Where every single 6 months they're a different company. I mean, remember when they started off, they went from a car company, and then he started talking, well, no, 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 we're actually not a car company. We're what was it? A clean energy company. And then we're a solar company. Oh, but now we're not a solar company. We're a battery company. Remember that one? And then, oh, no, 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 no. We're not a battery company anymore. We're an autonomous company. Oh, no, no, no. We're not that anymore. Oh, no, we're a robotics company. Oh, no, no, no. We're not that anymore. We're an AI company. Of course. It's just whatever. It's the soup du jour. Whatever is the flavor of the day, Musk is like, yep, that's what Tesla is. That's for sure. I can't wait for the next thing after AI. I would love it to be something like a coal company, or a coal is like the new whatever. Let's just pretend coal is the new energy source and the new rage, and all the coal shares and coal companies are just going to the moon. I wouldn't be surprised if Musk said, oh, well, Tesla, we're a coal company now. Or if gold continues to go up to like $10,000 an ounce, I guarantee you Tesla will be a gold company somehow. But again, the point is there's no way he could do this if we weren't in a speculative mania and looking at Beyond Meat, looking at all these other things. So how does this tie into the price of gold? Let's go back to the chart. And this, you've got to, I think, if we're being objective about this, you have to come to the conclusion that there is a significant portion of this price, and especially this move more recently, that has some speculative overtones. And it just rhymes with everything else that's happening in the market. Although I think there is also a tailwind of like risk off, ironically enough, because of the counterparty risk that's involved. But I think a lot of the, especially more recent buying in this parabolic move right here, was a result of retail getting involved. And one of the metrics I've used for this, some insider intel, is the premium that the average Joe and Jane are paying to buy actual physical gold from dealers. So back here, it was extremely low, almost, might even been an all-time low. And that, which tells you that retail's their net selling as far as physical. Then what happened, and I've got some people that own dealerships that are texting me all the time. And right around here, they're like, oh, George, the premiums are starting to increase. And so my question was, okay, where were they in like 2011? And they said they're right around 10%. I said, okay, where were they now? Or where are they now? They said right around 5, but we're up from like 1. So that to me was a red flag. And then you had like India, like literally running out of silver, or that refining company. And you had all these other things going on. And then you had the complete price breakdown in the chart. And so for that reason, combined with all of this other, let's just say, risk that's in the overall market, that's why punchline here, I unloaded part of my position. Now, what happened is gold went up so much in price that it was a huge percentage of my overall portfolio. But I tend, and you guys, most of you know this from watching my videos, I always like to have gold around 10%. So what I did is I sold the gold position down to where it was 10% of my portfolio again. Now, this is not personal investing advice. I'm just simply telling you what I'm doing and why. And if the chart looks a little bit better, if I get some other data points that would suggest retail isn't getting FOMO and piling in, maybe I'll buy again. But I with the speculative positions in the portfolio, I really don't like to play the game when you get into the phase when there's just this massive, massive volatility. To have that insurance position that I always have, that's great. That never goes away. But as far as the other, big position that it turned out to be, I'm happy unloading here and just waiting to see what happens. Because by the way, this 5%, 5.5% decline that we've seen today is the biggest decline since when? You guys probably know the answer to this. That would be the collapse we saw, not just with gold, but with everything during the cerveza sickness. That was the last time we had a decline to this degree as far as percentage terms. And that was a good time to sit back and just be like, I'm going to wait to see how this one plays out. And then once things stabilize, then that's your buying opportunity. So I think it's important as investors that we don't get emotionally connected to a position because you believe that the government sucks, that gold is money, that fill in the blank. That's having like a religious type of view of gold. And I don't think that's healthy when you're setting up your portfolio. If your objective is risk reward or risk adjusted returns, that's probably the best way to say it. So that's why I did what I did, but it all ties in to just kind of the AI bubble, this $1 trillion package for what, I don't know, with Musk, with Beyond Meat, 80% bump just because they got really relegated to the bench, or because they put on the dunce hat and went over in the corner, which is basically what's happening when you're getting added to a meme ETF, for heaven's sakes. And it's just all these things together. It just feels very weird, the markets right now. It just feels like it's just something is not right. And then you have the 10-year treasury just plummeting, trading under 4%. I don't know. It just, and then you've got the miners down 10+%. So for me, you get it. That's why I wanted to unload some of the position. And then the chart looks terrible. But I may get right back in next week. You'll have to stay tuned to the channel, or better yet, subscribe to Robo Capitalist Pro.